All right, so we got Asmongold on the DC shooting situation is insane. Let's go over this with our new buddy here.
After the deadly shooting of 2 Israeli embassy staffers last night at the nation's capital. The victims were leaving an event held by the American Jewish Committee. We do have the latest photo.
That really looks bad. That really looks bad. If it's an American Jewish event and it's not something that is explicitly for Israel, this looks very not good.
Of those victims. Metropolitan Police Department officials identifying the suspect as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago. Fox News' Gary Baumgarten joining us now to report on the latest.
Tolerate anti-Semitism.
Law enforcement in
They only got the last 2 words of her looks like Syrax if Syrax took a shower and wasn't a goblin. I don't know who that is.
Washington, D.C. say 2 staff members of the...
I mean, you heard her say it.
Semitism. Tolerate anti-Semitism.
Was this from the Twitch headquarters or from Chicago? Sorry, did they explain
True. Twitch is wild.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Law enforcement in Washington, D.C. say 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy are dead after being shot while leaving an event Wednesday night at the Capitol Jewish Museum.
Ooh.
The suspect was observed pacing back and forth outside of the museum. He approached a group of 4 people, produced a handgun, and opened fire.
We heard between 10 to 15 gunshots, roughly.
Wow.
Tragically, the male and female victims were a couple preparing to be engaged.
That's messed up. That's sad. That's a bummer. Super unfortunate. I mean, obviously, things like this happen all the time. But super unfortunate. And now their deaths are going to be this giant political nightmare. What a mess. What a mess.
Jesus.
The young man purchased a
Dude thinks he's Luigi Mangione over here.
ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend.
After the attack, witnesses
What? He just bought a ring, bro? Come on.
in the museum saw a man run in before tensions flared.
The security guard happened to let this guy in. I guess they were thinking that he was a victim. He was in shock.
How do you ruin Slipknot? Like... I mean, lolcows are generally, Oh! I think I know who you're talking about now. Is he the one that was on live, like, talking about how he would do that stuff? Yeah, I'll write it down. I'll write it down. We'll look at him. We'll check it out in a bit. When we get to the end of, everything I have planned. Oh, I don't know how to spell.
And, you know, some of the people at the event brought him water.
Yeah, I handed him water. I've never interacted with a murderer before.
He's like, somebody called cops, bring the cops in. When the cops actually came in, he said, I did this. He said, sir, I'm unarmed. He put his hands up. He grabbed a red kufi out of his pocket and started the Free Palestine chants.
Once in handcuffs, police say the suspect told them where he stashed the gun, and they were able to recover it.
There is no active threat in our community.
In a post to Truth Social, President Donald Trump wrote in part, quote, hatred and radicalism have no place in the USA. This deadly shooting comes in the wake of increasing Israeli military operations across the Gaza Strip as IDF forces try to eliminate Hamas militants and free remaining hostages. Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
All right, Gary, thank you so much for that detailed report. Again, taking you back out to the nation.
This kind of flies in the face of the last video we watched, because that video is more recent, not by much, by like a couple of weeks. And he's like, we need to get out of the situation. But like, the situation is here. We've got protests. We've got like, the situation does affect us. It's not affecting us in like a military sense domestically, but a lot of other, you know, bad things are happening over here because of this conflict.
Capital outside of that Israeli embassy. Just tragic news where 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy were killed. We do want to continue to follow the very latest developments. Now checking in with our content partners over at Fox 35 Orlando as they speak with Fox News correspondent Doug Luzader.
Let's see what they say.
Capital has left 2 Israeli embassies.
Wow.
9 o'clock last night, there was an event at the the Capitol Jewish Museum, which is actually just a few.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was just wondering the same thing. How did the news scuff that so badly? Holy shit.
There were 12-year-olds on Xbox Live that had better audio than that.
Exactly.
What the hell is this?
Blocks away from the U.S. Capitol building.
It's like the audio version of my video quality. Jeez.
This couple walking out of that museum was gunned down. Now, whether they were specifically targeted, it's not clear. But as the gunman was taken into custody, the suspected gunman, he was yelling "Free, free Palestine," and police say that that chant continued even after he was taken into custody. So, you know, the motive.
If the people that are big advocates of Palestine don't like pretty much unequivocally condemn this in every single way, and if
they won't. They won't. I've already seen Twitter. They won't. They didn't. They won't. A few of them did, but like the main ones, no, they didn't. Nope.
they run even a 1% of defense for this, this will, I think, massively shift the sentiment in the public against their movement in a way that I think is irreparable. I do. This will, yeah, it will end the movement. Yeah, exactly. Like it's there.
I don't think it'll end the movement because they've been chilling for this stuff since the beginning. And they did it. And there's still a movement. I don't know.
They're not condoning it. That's not enough.
Seems pretty evident there. Whether these individuals themselves were specifically targeted beyond their association, that the fact that they were coming out of
are already defending and supporting it. I'll look at the Reddit stuff after this
museum.
Yeah, exactly. They're already defending it. Like Twitter, all over Twitter, Reddit, everywhere.
Isn't entirely clear. We're still in early stages here, but just given what's going on right now with Israel and Gaza and the protests we've seen, the anti-Israel protests we've seen.
Like from the river into the sea? Yeah, I think. I feel like if Netanyahu actually wanted to do that, he would have done it already. Like, he's really, I feel like they really are he's really overcomplicating this. Like, if he wanted the conflict to be over, he would have ended it already.
Around the country, this obviously is getting a lot of attention around the globe, and what we're hearing from Israel right now is that they're stepping up security at their facilities around the world in response to what happened here in Washington last night.
Yeah, just a young couple, heartbreaking to see their photos. We understand that apparently they were about to get engaged, so we do understand that they were a couple. What do we know about the alleged shooter, Doug? I heard from Chicago, is that right?
That's correct. That's what police are telling us. 30 years old.
Senator Omar refused to give a statement on it today. I mean, I've been trying to say this shit was bad. I've tried to say that these people are absolute poison to their movement, and they're going to make it worse. I've tried so hard, guys. I've tried so much, but in the end, it didn't even matter, and it happened anyway. Wow.
All right, let's learn about this shooter though.
Arrested here, and
it's a false flag. 2 people are still dead.
I highly doubt it's a false flag. I think there are plenty of pro-Palestine people that are extreme enough to do this. Like, it's peer pressure that's overcomplicating things. Yeah, in a way. But I feel like what he's doing instead is worse. Like, it's making it worse. Like, he could just move in, militarize the entire zone, pick out the Hamases one at a time, and then leave. And then they wouldn't have to do so much bombing. And that would be better. At least, like, to the public eye. I don't know. I'm not there.
Yeah, they're still dead. That doesn't matter. What matters is how people are reacting to it.
They say that he was spotted kind of pacing outside the museum, but they don't have prior interactions with him that we know of. So, you know, that aspect of this still remains something of a mystery.
And Doug, moving over to the big, beautiful bill, we've been talking a lot about that.
Is this the
lawmakers have been working really around the
story, just tragic news. And then we are learning more about the victims as I transition the screen. If you're just now tuning in, showing you.
Damn, what a bummer. Good looking couple. They basically just said absolutely nothing about the shooter. So that was cool for them to introduce that segment and then just move on without actually telling us anything. That was cool.
Those 2 victims, again, learning that they were engaged to be married. The D.C. shooting where 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy.
This is also the worst optics, where you have some like fat neckbeard that goes out and shoots 2 young, attractive people that are getting engaged.
True.
It looks really bad.
It looks really bad. I mean, they're a beautiful couple. And I saw a picture of the shooter, and he is, as Asmongold has just described him, really terrible optically. So, like, if it was a false flag, I guess it was effective-ish, but I highly doubt that. I mean, it just seems like something that would naturally occur.
It does. This is the same, and I guarantee you, like, you're not going to see girls simping for this guy the same way they did for Luigi.
Yeah, but we kind of already have on Twitter and Reddit and in the crazy extreme activist communities.
I told you.
Were killed. Let's check in now with our content partners over at Fox 5 DC as they do have team coverage this morning.
Appreciate you joining us here on Fox 5 at 6 a.m. Also streaming on Fox Local. And we start this morning with the Fox 5 News alert, a deadly double shooting in the district.
The victims, 2 staff members of the Israeli embassy. The pair were gunned down last night while leaving an event at a Jewish museum in Northwest D.C.
We have live team coverage for you this morning. Stephanie Ramirez has been getting reaction from the Jewish community in D.C., including people who were at the museum as the shooting unfolded.
But we begin with Makia in our newsroom with the latest on that investigation. Makia.
Good morning, Steve Marissa. The shooting happened around 9 o'clock last night outside of the Capitol Jewish Museum along 3rd and F Streets. And this morning, the Embassy of Israel to the U.S. identified the victims as Yaron and Sarah. The embassy shared this image of the couple, saying the embassy is heartbroken by their murders. Well, now to video that you first saw here on Fox 5 of the person believed to be the suspect. Police identifying him as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez from...
Oh, yeah. Just look at this guy. Just look at this guy. This is the worst optics ever. Some basement dwelling cringe lord kills like a beautiful couple. Just awful. I seen a commie give a piss poor defense for Luigi. I seen commies give piss poor defenses for absolutely everything they believe. It's a They're a joke.
Chicago. In that video, he can be heard yelling, "Free, free Palestine." Authorities say Rodriguez was seen pacing outside of the museum before the shooting. He then walked inside after opening fire. He was quickly detained by event security. Now, Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, is calling this a, quote, act of targeted violence. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
It is absolutely an act of targeted violence.
Yeah, duh.
It's not even a question.
Why would we need to call it that?
I mean, obviously they have to investigate it, and I'm speaking as a layman, and so a police officer has a higher standard of this than I do. But yes, it's very obvious this is happening.
Super obvious.
Has spoken with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser insisting that there's no ongoing threat.
The horrific incident is going to frighten a lot of people in our city and in our country. And I want to be clear that we will not tolerate this violence or hate in our city.
I spoke to the President of the United States multiple times tonight on behalf of the President. His prayers are with all of us, all of the Jewish community, everyone in Washington, D.C., state, local, and federal agencies, and our great U.S. Attorney, Jeanine Pirro, who will be...
Do you think this will label the protesters as terrorists now, and it'll do a crackdown? No. But I do think that it will cause this this group, because this is what I'm assuming is going to happen. I am assuming that this group of people is so brain broken that they will be unable and unwilling to condemn this person who did this shooting, and even some of them will be celebrating it. And this will cause them to lose a tremendous amount of mainstream support. And I think that without that mainstream support, what's going to happen is it will galvanize the government and other types of, authoritative agencies to be more aggressive with treating them as if they're problematic groups of people, like the KKK, for example. And I'm not comparing them. I'm just saying this is the perspective that people are going to have. And it's going to normalize that behavior.
Yeah, I semi-agree. I definitely don't think that this is going to empower anyone to label them as like a terrorist organization, but it's really bad optics. It could definitely lead to more cracking down on the protesters, cracking down on the whole ideology. It definitely adds fuel to the idea of defunding the campuses that are allowing this type of stuff to happen. Yeah.
They never condemned them. Yeah, exactly.
Prosecuting this case, will be doing everything in our power to keep all citizens safe.
Yep.
Israeli Prime Minister.
Do they have the death penalty in DC? I'm not sure. He's definitely going to jail forever. Like, obviously. He did it like in broad daylight. There were witnesses. He stayed, waited for the police, turned himself in immediately. Yeah, he's gonzo. Adios, amigo.
Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he is, quote, shocked by the, quote, horrific anti-Semitic shooting. He has stepped up security.
Like how you guys act towards Trump and how you refuse to admit he does anything wrong. You're celebrating this horrible bill. Not only is your English wrong because you don't know how to use the proper form of your, but also you are saying, you guys, you don't know what my viewpoints are. You're just basically... You're playing, like, actually, let's ban, we're going to ban him just for being retarded.
Doesn't Asmongold stream, like, all day, every day, and give his opinion on basically everything? Wouldn't his chat kind of know his opinions? I don't know if he ever admits Trump did stuff wrong, but, I feel like his chat would know. I feel like banning this person is a little excessive.
Oh, never mind. I can't. His message is gone. Who cares? And so anyway, yeah, there you go. But no, that has nothing to do with what I was saying. What are the chances they call for the death penalty if this guy's found guilty? I mean, I would say pretty high. Trump never condemned the Nazi that that drove through a gathering in Charlottesville. What do you say on that?
I thought he did. I mean, it was like kind of vague, but I thought he did.
Are you gonna say sorry? Do you want to say sorry? Uh-oh. It looks like there's no response. He's not roaching out, is he? Guys, wait, you didn't just make something up and now you're getting called out for it and you're roaching out. Reap what you sow, Trumpers. You voted for radicalization. Trump won of radicalization. Munz, come on. You don't have a single, like, there's nothing you're going to say. You should fact check him. Great idea. Let's fact check him. Here it is. All right, so here's the...
He had that shit ready to go. Wow.
Quote. I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally. So I was wrong? That's correct. Whenever you're talking about Trump voting for radicalization, look in the mirror.
All embassies around the world. Guys?
And reaction from last night's shooting is pouring in, as you said, from all over, many saying they didn't know what was happening.
The couple killed as they were leaving the museum after an apparent event there. Fox 5's Stephanie Ramirez live in Northwest this morning with more from the scene. Steph?
Hey guys, we're learning a little bit more about the fear and the terror that was felt last night. The calls are coming in for an active shooter at the museum. Now, obviously, this is still a very protected scene at this hour. We're some 9 hours out, but I want to show you.
Yo, pointing a firearm at a beautiful woman and pulling the trigger is the most incel thing you could possibly do. Like, I literally can't even fathom that idea. Like, even if you, like, sure, you have these massive ideological disagreements, you think they're genociders or whatever. To be standing in America on the side of a road in DC and to point a firearm at like a woman and pull the trigger is the most incel fucking thing you could do on earth, for sure. I can't think of anything more incel than that. That's just like insane. I'm totally radical, dude. Hell yeah, Godspeed. Radical.
We're not at the front of the museum.
Trump will issue a Muslim ban for the U.S.? No.
Just no neckbeard, okay?
This has nothing to do with Muslims. I don't even know if the guy was a Muslim. There are tons of people that are part of the Support Free Palestine movement that aren't Muslims. Like, what does this have to do with Muslims? Nothing. It's...
Yes, you're correct. He does always think of them first. Until he goes on a shooting spree.
Just a guy, like, you know what's funny is that I bet in a Muslim country, this would have had a much lower probability of happening.
It's actually down there,
like in Saudi Arabia?
Traffic light, 3rd and F Streets Northwest over
Highly
there.
unlikely.
Now, the two killed, not just embassy staffers. They were a couple with plans to get married. The Israeli embassy and Israel's foreign ministry sharing their photo on social media. The ministry also wrote that Israelis, diplomats and representatives around the world stand on the front lines of Israel's diplomatic efforts, defending the country with their very lives, and that they will not be deterred by terror. Reverberations of this shooting is being felt all across the world, with condolences and vows to stand against anti-Semitism also being shared. DC Mayor Muriel Bowser, as you heard, started speaking to this at last night's emergency news conference. Authorities also spoke about making sure to make contact with the city's Jewish institutions to make sure that they have any extra security needed this morning. Support also coming from the highest office. Israel's ambassador said he spoke with President Donald Trump last night on the phone. Here is some more from the ambassador.
The couple that was gunned down tonight in the name of Free Palestine. It's a young couple about to be engaged. The young man purchased a ring this week.
We already heard this. Why is he watching some of the same stuff? Wi-Fi, have you watched some of the professional douche content? Is that a creator? I'm going to go ahead and say no, because I'm not sure what you're referring to. Could you be more specific?
Week, with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. They were a beautiful couple who came to enjoy an evening in Washington's Cultural Center.
Not anymore.
I will say this.
Yep.
We are a resilient people. The people of Israel are.
I'll write him down. I got another one to check out later too. Actually, we have 3 to check out now next stream. Or maybe tonight if we finish up the stuff I have planned early.
Resilient people, and the people of the United States of America are resilient people.
Professional Douches channel. Okay, good. That's what I wrote down on my list.
Together we won't be afraid.
Man.
Together we'll stand, and we're going to overcome moral depravity of people who think that they're going to achieve political gains through murder.
Guys, our crew on scene last night spoke with...
So we have another person, and this is another individual in Chad, and I just want you guys to see these kinds of people, right? You should have heard the words shared by a Republican representative on Fox News reacting to this in his anti-Arab and Islamophobic rhetoric. Do you completely and fully condemn this shooting and say that the person was an awful person? Like, do you completely condemn it and say that, you know, shooting these people was completely unjustified and it was awful? Of course. Okay, so then we're in agreement. I'm sure somebody had a bad take on it. Yeah, you're totally right. There's probably somebody out there that's an asshole that's using this to push some xenophobic...
Oh, definitely. I'm sure Fox News is doing the exact opposite of the Twitter and Reddit right now. For sure.
You know, racist rhetoric. Yeah, sure, of course. That's bad.
With witnesses, many of them in disbelief that this happened, especially because of what this event was about. We'll have more of that in about 30 minutes. Guys.
Well,
all right, Stephanie, thank you. We're going to stay on.
So
all right. Reasonably pretty base takes from Asmongold during that one.